Don't be complacent. That is my answer, and I want to share with you a lesson or a bunch of lessons that I've taken from this, and I'll explain that in this video today. What's going on, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Really do appreciate you being here. How you doing? My name's Chris, and I'm building a business that suits my lifestyle. Now, this week, coming fresh off the end of May 2023, it's actually been my best month yet. It's been very rewarding, and I want to take you through those details today, but there is one big lesson in build up to this month that I want to share with you, and that's about managing complacency, or don't be complacent. Now, if you do not know what that means, that's what we'll discuss first before we get into the details of my best month yet. And of course, if you stick around to the end, I will take you through the details of the progress for this week alone, which ironically has actually been pretty quiet. And secondly, I'll take you through some show and tell and the behind the scenes. Let's dive in. Don't be complacent. So what does this actually mean? Well, technically, it's an expression often used to remind people to avoid becoming overly satisfied or content with their current situation or achievements. It usually urges individuals to remain vigilant, proactive, and stay motivated in order to continue progressing and improving. So essentially, being complacent would mean that we've become stagnant, we've become stale, we've settled for whatever it is we've achieved, and it also means that we start to lack ambition, we become sloppy, we're less focused, we can become lazy, we stop pushing forwards towards whatever goal or to a new goal, we stop getting uncomfortable, and we actually tend to take things for granted. This is the worst thing that we can do when building a business, when trying to reach our goals, or running a business, and in this sense, reselling online. So in the lens of reselling online or running a business, I think there's a couple of things here that we really need to consider. And the important thing of building a business or reselling online, whether you're a part-timer or a full-timer or doing this as a bit of a side hustle, we need to continue to build progress. We need to continue to seek better results. And in short, I guess you could think of it this way. Before we start blaming eBay for a lack of sales, no views, bad results, and the list goes on, we need to make sure we have a look at ourselves and under the hood to understand, are we doing everything that makes sense? Are we doing everything that is actually enabling us to get the best result? Now, this video, I'm not talking about this in the sense that I've got it all figured out. I'm talking to myself just as much. There's so many things where I know I need to be doing better. And that's why I want to have the conversation with you, because if I'm struggling with it and I'm having really good results to what I believe is really good compared to, over the last 6 months of growth, I think we all struggle with this, and it's a conversation that needs to be had. So today I'm taking you through 5 lessons for myself that I think you could take away and learn from, and we're going to dive into these 5 things. Now, these 5 things are how we combat and manage becoming complacent, and also lessons from, managing complacency, and hopefully you can walk away and know how to be better at not becoming complacent. Number 1 is continuous improvement. We need to constantly be striving for better outcomes. Now, I'm not here to tell you that you need to be hustling hard, that you can't take a break, and that it's all work and no fun. That's not what I'm saying. But as we continue to progress, we need to take the lessons that we learn as we progress and then see where we can continuously work on improving. Whether you're a part-timer or a full-timer, you know that there are things that you are delaying, there are things that you are putting off, there are things that you know need to be improved. You know what they are. It's going to be different for everyone. And these are things that you need to attend to, or you need to improve. And unfortunately, we continue to put them to the side, put them on the shelf, or throw them under the rug, or we get to them eventually. These are the things that we need to stop putting off, and these are the things that could be actually quite possibly meaning why we're not getting the results that we're wanting. There's always room for growth. Don't ever think that you've got it all figured out, and don't ever think that you have all the answers for everything. The question you should be asking yourself is, are you willing to break back into being uncomfortable? Once you hit a new level of success or a new level of a result or a new milestone, yes, soak it in, celebrate. Take a moment to give yourself a reward, some time off and rejuvenate and re-energize, but don't become stagnant. Don't go so stuck on this that you've got it all figured out and it's just going to keep showing up with the same results, because I guarantee you that's not the way it works. We need to make sure we're putting in now that consistency, but also if you want to take it to the next level, you can't just keep doing the same thing. Now, growing my business personally, it has not been an easy process. It's been something which has only been possible if I had not continued to be continuously improving, and I still have to. right? I've had to do things which I wasn't doing 6 months ago. I've had to change the way I operate. We will always grow and we can always learn, but we have to do it incrementally. You can't all of a sudden start be doing 10x your results if you're not doing 10x the work. But I also guarantee you that we might start to put in extra effort today. There is going to be a delayed result or a delayed impact of you putting in that work. Sometimes you might put in a big, strong effort of 30 days. It might not come crawling back to you for another 60 or so, but it's important because it creates a snowball effect. As you start compounding the more effort, the more action, the continuous improvement back into your business, that snowball picks up pace really, really quick. And you can see it here in the graph of how I've been able to progress a lot quicker than I have in the past. So my challenge to you is pick something this week that you need to work on, but have a running list of items for action in which you need to address. Now, I'm going to call out a bunch of different things that you may know that you need to be addressing. Maybe you need to be doing a better skewing system. Maybe you need to apply a skewing system. Cleaning out def piles, sorting stock, culling stock, fixing bad listings, listing better items, listing more items, changing your shipping policies, sorting better things, spending some time on your promotions and understanding, do you need to be promoting? How can you be promoting better? Sending out coupons, engaging with your customers, store hygiene. And this is just to list a couple of things. There is so many other things, and I'm sure you've got things in the back of your mind that you know you need to be continuously improving on. Number 2 is pursuing goals. Now, this is a cliche statement, and I say it on my podcast, and I say it quite a lot in other areas as well, but setting and pursuing goals are super key to enable us to not become complacent. They provide a sense of direction and they provide a sense of purpose. As I said, yes, they're cliche, but they do work. Now, at the end of 2022, or basically the middle of FY23, I looked at my progress, and look, it wasn't bad. It was better than where I had been before, but I knew I had the ability to make it better. I knew I still had a lot in me to be able to step it up, or that I'd been lacking my actual best efforts. So I set bigger goals. I wanted to see the results better than ever, and I still do. Now, what I originally wanted to do, the first step was I wanted to average my 90-day sales from taking it from what was $20,000 every 90 days to $25,000 to $30,000 to $40,000. And I actually hit this week. I've had it for one day and now it's dropped back down to $39,500. But the fact is like, you need to be striving for that next level. You need to be striving for that milestone if you want the results. You can't expect to do less or to do the same and all of a sudden to have bigger and better results. It just doesn't work that way. Now, these are short-term goals, but having longer-term goals is even more important, as we can then help make sure that the shorter-term goals are actually making it possible for those longer-term goals to even occur, to even happen, to even come into play. So some of those longer term goals, like for me personally, might be, continuing to have someone work for me, not just, as a helper, but, whether it's more than part-time and actually being able to have them start to own a part of the business, meaning they're taking control of a full process, taking control of a full area of the business, and I can continue to expand. Building the business that suits my lifestyle, building it so that it does cover my bills, it does cover all my expenses, and it does give me the money that I need to be able to reinvest into other areas, into other little ventures that I want to do, and to build a life and to be able to sustain that lifestyle. More income, more profits, better cash flow, a bigger and better space, the ability to expand, partnerships, relationships with other parties to slingshot the business. These are all longer term goals, but they're also things that are within reach if I continue to do the shorter term, because I need to build up the know-how, the ability. I even need to make sure I have the numbers that even make sense for me to be able to start making some of these decisions. So understand what it is that you want, but then understand what it takes to get to where you want. And then when we don't be complacent, we can start to actually make these actions and turn these goals into a reality. Number 3 is embracing change. Complacency often arrives when people resist change, or we become too comfortable with our status quo or what we're dealing with. We hit a new level, we find a new success, and then we ride the enjoyment of it, but we ride it too long. We get lazy, we slack off, and we'll chat about this shortly. Now, the statement, and I've said this hundreds of times on this YouTube channel is if we always do what we've always done, you will always get what you've always gotten. You can't continue to do the same and expect bigger and better results. We can't expect to get 10 times the results if we continue to do the same effort and input that only got us 1x of the results. It just doesn't make sense. So what we need to be doing is we need to be embracing the opportunity of change, and we need to be willing to take a chance on trying something new, aka calculated risks. Be open to learning, and also through insight and through mentors or the help of others, and we can learn and acquire new knowledge. Do we need to change what we sell? Do we need to change how we sell it? Can we source in new ways? These are just some examples of different ways of thinking and how we can embrace change. If I had not made a change myself to do more clothing, or at least even give it a go and try it to see if it's going to work for my business and work for me, I would not have learned what I did, meaning acquired the knowledge to be able to sell more clothing, and I wouldn't have the results that I've seen over the last 6 months either. But I didn't just take one item to sell it. I didn't take one pair of clothing and think, okay, I can do this and I've got it all figured out. No, I needed to take a bit more of a risk, a calculated risk, and, dive a little deeper and understand what it is that it's going to take. I needed to put in the reps. So I got more than 100 pieces of clothing. I think it was actually 200. And I could put in the reps, learn the process, do the research, do the experience work, understand and acquire the knowledge of what it's going to take. Now, I'm still learning today, but it has given me the ability to now slingshot forward. And thus, that's why I'm saying we should be taking calculated risks. And this being my next point, we can counter being complacent by boosting our ability to grow. So when we embrace change, when we learn to improve, and as we chase our goals, taking these calculated risks continue to compound on top of that. So I figured if I want to be more consistent with my sales, if I want more sales, and if I want to sell more items, I need to sell items which people are going to buy more of, right? It makes sense. So the research suggested that I did was clothing was a great example of this, and it was a starting point. But I knew nothing of it. And as I said, I had to go take my no idea mentality and turn it into how to learn this, how can I acquire and gain the knowledge, and now how can I put it into practice. But I had to do this with planning. I had to take a calculated risk and a mindset of I'm willing to fail. And if I spend this much money, I'm willing to let it be a lesson, a chance to learn. But I was also willing to win. I was also willing to succeed. You have to give yourself that wiggle room of like, are you investing, let's say it's $1,000 or $100 or whatever it may be, and time as well, of course. Are you willing to take that time, and if you do not get the results you want, to still take it as a win? You need to be comfortable with that. And that's why we take a calculated risk. We understand the pros and the cons and the wins and the potential losses. Now, for me, it has paid off and it continues to pay off. But even now, the results that I have, I need to stay continuously focused on growing and continuously understanding how I can not just assume that this will last and that it will just stick around and continue to give me the results that I want. If I want to get further again, I need to be doing further ahead in terms of applying myself, growing, challenging myself, trying new things, or doubling down or putting in extra effort. It does not work by doing less. Of course, there is the opportunity to leverage other people, have other people work for you and things like that. And then, yes, potentially I could work less and have them work for me, but that's a different conversation. So my question to you for this point is, are you taking risks? Are you testing new categories? Are you trying new models? Are you sourcing new ways? Are you having conversations about learning to do things in a different way? Calculate them, understand them, execute them, but make sure you can tolerate them. Now, my final point for this is identifying your sloppy work and slip-ups. This is how we can ensure that we do not stay complacent. Now, I know you will resonate with this one because I do it too, and do not deny it. I do it. And I think we all do this. And if I've been able to achieve what I've been able to achieve today, yet I still know the things of where I need to do better, then I know you've got something on your mind as well. How often have you been working and you know what you're doing is not the best thing that you could be doing with your time? Maybe you're doing bad listings, lazy listings, as I like to call them, things that you're just listing for the sake of hitting a target or to get things up on the store, which aren't things that are going to sell quickly, or they're kind of not really items that people want to buy. You're being slack with the details. You're not spending the extra time on doing the nitty-gritty that you need to do to help sell the item. You're not listing at all, and you're just being distracted. How often do you do this sloppy work? How often are you lazy with actually applying yourself and actually getting the results? What about slip-ups? When we become complacent, when we think we've got it all figured out, this is when we start to make mistakes. We become too focused on the good results that we're bathing in, the high life, or, the joy of what we've been able to achieve, and thus we neglect the finer things. We start to slip on the details. We start to slip on the core work that needs to occur, the stuff that got us here in the first place. Now, when you achieve a good result, when you achieve a good week or a solid month or your best ever, this applies to anything in life, we want to replicate that result, but then take it further. So how do we do it? Well, we need to know what works. So what did you do? Understand what you did, and then how do you do more of that, if not better? You can't expect to get the same if you're doing less, or you're slacking off, or you're being lazy, or, not doing what is required. Basically, we've got to do nothing less than what got us the result in the first place. You can only do less if you are happy with those results. Now, look, this is a key point, and it's a fair point. Like, if you hit a big result and you've enjoyed getting that big result, but you've realized that's too much effort, you can't guarantee that effort, or you don't like having to do that much work, and you're comfortable with taking a little less income, or you're comfortable with not hitting that high because you don't have to do as much work, it's not as demanding, that's okay too. You need to have a work-life balance, but what I'm saying in this sense is you cannot expect to have bigger and better results by doing less. So these 5 lessons, these 5 reminders, look, I need to constantly remind myself, and I need to continue to review, and I need to come back to in order to continue to not stay complacent. And that's my challenge to you. What of these do you need to really need to put some time on before we start blaming other reasons why we're not getting the results that we want? Look, there is things outside of our control. There's factors that we cannot control that limit our ability to sell. But the big one that we can control is becoming complacent. So make sure you check yourself before you wreck yourself. If I want the results that I dream of, if you want the results that you dream of, we need to do the work that is going to generate these results. So stop mucking around and just get to work. And the final question I'll leave you to is, can you be honest with yourself? Have you become complacent in any area? And what are you going to do about it? All right, team, appreciate you sticking around this long. We're going to jump into the month of May 2023, and it's been a very rewarding month. It's been my best month yet. I've done $15,189 in sales. I was actually expecting only to do about 14.5, and I've been able to push that a little higher. Now, of course, this money, $15,189, has not been all purely eBay. You can see on screen how much of that has come from eBay. You can also see the sales as well, and then there has been some private sales that I've been able to do on Facebook and things like that, or through my partnerships and friendships and relationships that I've built with the business of, I do sell certain things wholesale and source for other people in certain categories that do not make sense for myself. I will call out though, I have not included tax and GST here for a couple of reasons. Tax comes out of my total income for the year, so it's a conversation that I have with my accountant. Of course, I've earning in different ways across my life, not just this reselling business, so I need to take that into full consideration. So do you. And from GST perspective, at the time of this, GST is not in play for my business. It will be for the new financial year, so I will be talking about that when I start doing my results in the new financial year, just as a caveat. And of course, this is also not advice. This is just my progress update of how I've been able to achieve $15,000 or a little bit more for the month of May 2023. So as you can see here, 553 sales. We had a $27.47 ASP, which was pretty rewarding, a bit lower than what I would like, to be honest. The profit and loss statement, here it says total revenue, $15,189. You can see cost of goods sold, gross profit being about $11,500. All the expenses you can see here for yourself. If you do have questions about these, more than happy to answer. Post costs have gone up, and of course fees being a big one, but there were some 50% off fees this month, which did bring down that expense. Total expenses being $6,800. Operating profit that has come through clear is $4,641. Now, this is not the amount that I pay myself. I'll talk about that very, very shortly. It's been a very rewarding month, and from this, my biggest question is, or actually my biggest fear is, how the heck do I do this again? And that scares me because I put a lot of work into this, but I now need to make sure I can continue to replicate this because I want to continue to grow. And it's a scary fact because the only person I'm trying to prove to is myself. Of course, me doing these videos keeps me accountable and keeps it honest. And if I don't hit 15,000 again in June, well, I'll be sharing you what I did get for June anyway. But that's why the conversation around being complacent is such a real conversation. And I need to be willing to step it up and not lazy out. Back-to-back running months of growth has been really, really rewarding. And you can see it here in the graph. I've had some really good months back-to-back. But it can change very, very quick when we slow down and stop doing good work and we just do work. Now, if you do have a question around how I do pay myself, so I follow the profit first process. Basically, the way that works is each week when eBay sends money to my account, I split that money up into different categories in which I then pay myself on a monthly basis. This all happens on a weekly basis though. So over this last month, I've been paid out $13,737 from eBay. Owner's pay, I pay myself 42% of that income that comes through. So I've paid myself about $5,769. Profit, I've been able to put away $137 as just some icing on the top. OPEX is the operating expense, how much I operate with per month. This is the money that's gone into the account, $5,975. That's at 43.5%. Tax, I put about 4.5% away each month, which is $618, and boost, which is to pay for storage unit and a few other little extra things that I need to boost the business. That's 9%, and I've put away $1,236 for this month from the income that I've received from eBay. I do highly recommend that book. All right, so that is the month of May. Really, really cool. If you've got any questions, by all means, please ask away. Let's jump into week 125. Ironically, after my best month, this week has actually been quite slower than normal. Look, by the end of the week, I did land above average. But, you know, after having some solid weeks of back-to-back more than $3,000 each week, this starts to play with your head. It's a roller coaster. It gets emotional, and it's not that bad, but I would have liked it to be better. So what has been selling? Well, lots of clothes, jeans have been the winner for this week. As you can see, there's been a few other things, DVDs as well. Yeah, a whole range of different things, but really clothes and jeans have what has been able to get me to where I needed to be for this week to get to my goals. In terms of the top 4 items or the fun items to share for this week, I do have 4. Now, these aren't necessarily the best items for the week, but they're just items that I wanted to share with you. The first one is this Hellboy 2 action figure, new in box. This one I picked up for about $9.30. Been able to sell it for $70.50. That's going over to, I think it's going to US. Actually, yeah, US. And I've been able to walk away with $40.70 after fees and postage. The next one is, this is just crazy, actually. A Toshiba dual band wireless LAN adapter for a TV. I picked this one up for free. Actually, I think I got it out of a hard rubbish lot. I can't remember where I got it from. I'll have to check my SKU. But this one, I got it for free, and I've been able to sell it for $61.86. It's gone over to Germany, and I've walked away with $39.78 after fees and postage. Top item number 3 for this week was this Diesel men's heavy jacket. You would have remembered this from one of my recent sourcing videos. I paid average cost of goods $6.73. It was actually a $10 or $15 jacket. Sold it for $55. Walked away with $30.27 after fees and postage. Now, the final item I wanted to share with you this week was this Ralph Lauren Big Pony Purple Women's pullover hoodie. I got this in my Savers 50% off sale just the other week, paid $6.53. Was able to sell it for $44.70 and walked away with $21.88 after fees and postage back into my pocket. So pretty cool. In terms of the full results for week 125, we did do 103 sales. Margin was sitting about 31%. Cost of goods sold was $688. We have sold $2,700 worth and profited $863, which, look, ain't too bad. ASP was $26.35. Average cycle time was 120 days, been really just moving some of that older stock. So look, the return on investment on this hasn't been too bad. As I said, after having some really high weeks back to back, having this slightly lower week, it plays with your head, but it actually ain't too bad. And I don't want to take that for granted by all means. But, you know, I am trying to keep myself honest of what can I be doing to continue to get the results that I want to see. All right, if you're stuck around this long, let's dive into some show and tell. All right, folks, it is Monday and we're doing it all again. So we've got lots going out. Also got a couple of bundles here. That bundle's gone out. That bundle's gone out. And I've also got a wee bundle going out over there. I'll take you through that in a minute. 53 orders going out. We're at 39,609. I did get to 39,900 at the think it was on Friday, and then it dropped down over the weekend, so it's a bit of a challenge. We've got lots going out. We've got some cameras, we've got a book, Lord of the Rings. That was a return. Person never picked it up about 120 days ago. Listed again, it was in my dev pile and it sold instantly. It's a Lord of the Rings book from 1988. Got some Wii bundle games going out. This guy sold last night. We've got a North Face bundle there going out. We've got some DVDs. This one went for like 30 bucks. Some video games. We've got shirts, we've got iPods, we've got clothing, lots of DVDs, VHS, clothing, jeans, clothing. Got an Assassin's Creed thing going out here. I know games, more media, footy cards, more media just there. And I already showed you these bundles as well. So pretty happy with this. That's all going to one person. It's going to one person. Just trying to move stuff, the dead stuff. And we're filling up here, starting to make some just aggressive decisions of getting rid of stuff. Yeah, so pretty pumped to do these 53 orders. I am also going to be testing out the new process of having my local post office pick up everything. So last week I filled this out and took it to them, but they said, look, they'll just come pick it up. So I'm testing that today, which will be pretty good. Yeah. Let's get to work. All right, team, we are all done. I had another sale or two come through, a couple of international as well that I hadn't realized were going out too. So, and I've run out of international slips, but it's all good. This is the full shebang. It's going out, so time to pack it all into this. It's definitely not going to fit. Going to need 2 bags going forward. Yeah, it's a good problem. All right, let's jump over to the next day. Alright team, it is Thursday and we're back at it again here at the shop. We have 43 items going out. We've dropped back down to, you can't probably see it too well, it's 39,476. Didn't get to the 40,000 yet. Keep missing it. I have finished up May and it's been my best month yet. So the results of that will be in this video that you're watching, which is pretty crazy. So done over $15,000, which is just bonkers. It's been a journey to get here. Now I'm scared to do it again. All right, so this is everything that's going out. As I said, how much was it? 43 items. We've got a whole bunch of media, the usual. Had a few sales come through this morning. Quite a few jeans, actually. Had some shoes, a couple of DVDs, some books, lots of clothing. That's all clothing. We've got jackets, long sleeves. We've got North Face. We've got jeans. Do have a books. These are James Herrott. We've got a camera in here as well. We've got a lens in there too somewhere. There it is. A lens, a little coin holder, some bird books. We've got a bundle of jeans here, and I did actually also sell this bad boy, the big diesel jacket. So I took an offer. I think it's gone for 55, so I'm happy with that. All right, let's pack it all up, and I've got lots of work to do. So this has to have a big clean out. I'm actually going to be spending a bit of time next week and doing it, like actually going through it a lot, because I think there's probably about a whole shelf to be made up in here from just clearing out spots. But I'm also going to be tagging stuff for discount and just clearing it out, like just getting it moving. I'm going hardcore. I was going to do this for the last month of the financial year, June, but I've decided not to, because to be honest, the more I sell, I mean, I still got to sell what I want to sell this month, but I'm trying to hit a target sweet spot, because if I go too heavy, I will have to pay more tax. And I'm pretty comfortable where I am with the tax. So it's a bit of an interesting problem. So if I sell too much, I'll have to pay a bit more tax. If I stay on target to where I'm at, which should be another, between 13,000 14,000, then I should be in the sweet spot of where I want to land. But look, it's not a bad problem to have, but and these things are never perfect. Anyway, so I will be tagging things to be basically moving them out, get the cash flow ready for the new year, and put it to work. So let's start packing. Appreciate you all. So there you go. That has been the week of 125. It's also been the results of May 2023, which have been really, really rewarding. Now, if you have any questions or comments about this, more than happy to have the conversation. Leave a comment down below. And of course, if you're struggling with complacency, or if you've got something that you want to share about, becoming complacent, let's have the conversation. Leave something down in the comments below of how you're going to tackle complacency. And come on, let's charge on together. Let's continue to build a good business together and create something that we're proud of. and don't fall trap of becoming slack or lazy or thinking you've got it all figured out, because we don't. I don't. And I'm still learning. We're all still learning. So make sure you take that, run with it, and let's make a whole lot of money selling online, but also being willing to learn together. Appreciate you being here. You have a wonderful day. Cheers.